this might be a test, because you take a look at the devices that were discovered, they're pressure cookers, just something that someone made probably at home or something like that, and seemingly this is the kind of thing that is meant to test in case there are more plans to actually have a bigger attack, and just to test the
when you look at this vis-a-vis the presidential election that are upcoming in the United States,
yes,
there are those who say that this may actually work in favor of Donald Trump.
Yes, exactly.
Because he's been very vocal about terrorists.
Yes, and playing on the fears of the electorate. So given that it's just 8 weeks to the elections, and then we're having this, what Donald Trump has been warning the Americans about over and over again and drumming it in, happening just weeks to the elections. You know, you might see a part of the electorate shifting to that side, and he was very vocal when it happened. He was one of the candidates who came up very vocally
it's actually already
respond.
Shifting.
Yeah.
And Hillary Clinton campaigners should actually get very worried right now.
Yes.
That gap is now closing in and that pneumonia thing also didn't help Hillary Clinton much, because guys were saying she's very secretive, she should have told us she was sick, and honest. now this is happening. So it might shift the scales in favor of Donald Trump. And of course, it's not just one, there are 3 attacks, and the one of them, the Minnesota mall stabbing, was actually acknowledged and praised by the IS. So they actually said that this guy was our soldier. He was a 22-year-old Somali man of Somali origin, living in Minnesota, who actually went on a rampage at a mall. So the Somali community in Minnesota has come out and said, no, this is not what we stand for. But of course, IS has lauded his actions, even though the authorities investigating said attack as saying there are no visible connections between this guy and these terror groups. But you see, with the advent of technology and, you know, online reports, and, you know, people are getting inspired. So some of these attackers are not necessarily in cahoots with them, but they watch what these people do, and then they actually, you know, get inspired and actually carry out their own attacks in the name of these groups. Interesting conversation in class the other day. And someone was saying that maybe it's time the media stops focusing on these stories, because then you have a copycat effect. When someone sees someone
people get inspired. As much as some people condemn and fear what these people do, some people actually say, you know what, this is very nice. I must also add myself to this.
That puts us in a very awkward position.
Because the people need to know these things, and at the same time, sometimes it's counterproductive. Then you're having Clinton's lagging Hispanic support, like you said.
I told you.
Strokes concern about her key strategy. Well, they actually, in this article, they're comparing Hillary Clinton's appeal to the Hispanics to Barack Obama's appeal to his Hispanics when he was running for presidency. And according to this article, her appeal is much lower compared to Barack Obama.
She's even losing support among the African Americans.
Yes, and yet these were the key demographics that they were tapping into and hoping would help them sail into the White House easily. So
are we allowed to vote for her?
I would like to, exactly. So, but throughout the election campaigns, it has seemed like the Americans are having to choose between 2 poisons, picking the better poisons.
Okay.
Because both candidates...
To be fair, are we allowed to pick sides?
I feel like I should, because I side, and I've always been pro-Hillary Clinton because of the rhetoric that, you know, Trump has had from the beginning to now. Even though he has changed tone and become mellower, still...
Donald Trump,
I know,
please.
he tries, but then falls back. Then you're having another article here that still on Trump, that says Trump makes gains, but his chances of a 270 electoral vote are still dim. Still looking very good for Donald Trump, even though he's not there yet. But polls are indicating that he's doing much better.
No, Hillary will have a comeback. Trust me,
I hope so.
I hope so,
But you know, anything can happen in politics.
Yeah, so day is a very
there are times that it was seeming like Trump cannot make a comeback, and now he has.
You know, he's just started this thing like, okay, let me reserve my comments.
Let's move on. Then you're having, I'm not the party girl people think I am. People Middleton on the wooing of her fiancé, the trials of being a royal in-law, and the inspiration behind her new book in her first ever major interview.
When is she getting married, by the way?
I do not know, but soon, of course,
engaged,
to a very, very rich man. So
Trix, really?
It's true. He's really loaded. This is the picture of him, the corner right there. But she's trying to dissuade the notion that she's a party girl. She's a free spirit. But
what's wrong with being a free spirit? I am a free spirit.
I don't know but I think in terms of royalty and being associated with the royal family, you're supposed to be more proper and poised.
No.
So a lot of the things she does raise eyebrows. So
okay, I am such a free spirit, and I don't think my mother has ever regretted giving birth to a free spirit.
That way, So for some people, it seemed as improper, but of course, for people like us, there's no big deal with being a free spirit. But then we'll see what happens with that. We're hoping that it will be a huge wedding.
Like girl live her life.
I know, like the royals back a few years back. And then you're having revealed one of the racist thugs accused of killing Stephen Lawrence faces jail after masterminding a 4 billion cannabis smuggling. So this guy lost his life. Apparently, this is the suspect. And of course, we'll see what's going on, whether he'll be taken to jail or whether he'll be let off the hook, depending on the kind of evidence that they have. Then we move on to The Guardian, and it's heading with the same story. So this was in New Jersey. This thing here is a pressure cooker, whereby it was actually having wires and cell phones attached to it. It was an IED. And so this was on a trail of a marathon that's going to happen. So this brings back memories of the Boston Marathon bombing.
The Boston Marathon. I was speaking to Andrew Franklin just at the beginning of this show.
Yes.
And he seems to think this was not very well coordinated, but it's a wake-up call.
Exactly. And that's why actually some analysts feel like maybe it was just a test, because
just to see, okay,
how
can
will
we
they
get away
react?
with this?
Exactly, So this was just left randomly in the middle of the road. Let's scroll down and see what more the Guardian has for us. And then here we are having embassies report a rise in alleged hate crime in the UK since Brexit vote. This is not news. Because a lot of people voted to get people out of their country because they felt like they were taking away their jobs. And then you're having the Game of Thrones. Do you watch this movie? But apparently it's doing quite well.
Have you watched it?
Yes, I have.
Is it nice?
It is interesting. I'll give you that.
Okay, just give me Princess Sophia, I'm fine. Give me Little Mermaid, I'm good.
You're good. It's an acquired taste for some, I have to say, but still it's making a lot of breaking records for most awards of all time for a drama series. So this is very interesting. A lot of people are hoping to move on, but I think they're going to cap it off at season 7, I think. Then we're having the the New Delhi Times, rather, that's leading with a DLF Promenade full fun-filled shopping festival comes to a colorful end. We also had another event coming to an end, the Paralympics. And so there's a lot of interesting stories right there. We are having stories of the film industry in India taking center stage right there. The new film shows how the Beatles help fight segregation. So still interesting that the Beatles musicians had a hand in helping fight segregations, especially of blacks. And then let's move on to the China Daily, that's leading with the interesting photos of various things, riding on smart cycles. I wonder what makes them smart, aside from you having to pedal. I don't know what they can add to bicycles to make them smart, but trust China to figure something out. And then the boost in sales is still on this page, whereby mosquito nets are making some companies make a killing because of the threat of the Zika virus. Then they're having the smart banks, where the transition continues. You can interact with your ATM right now, at least in China. Then New York is taking center stage down here, whereby New York City to deploy bigger than ever police pressure. Of course, we know that presence. Sorry, you are going to have the UN Assembly meeting in New York. So of course, this makes sense that they will actually beef up pressure. And of course, given that this will be dignitaries, world leaders meeting at this part of the world.
And you see, this attack in New York now even raises the stakes. Yeah,
exactly.
You have a meeting of an international nature.
Dignitaries,
You have dignitaries, you have presidents, you have basically just world leaders.
And a threat just...
and then someone just blows up something and
seemingly trying to test the waters, and of course nothing happened. 29 people were injured. No one actually lost their lives.
I actually think that was like a booby trap.
Yeah, exactly. Because using pressure cookers and shrapnel, if it was a well-coordinated attack, I think it would have been more severe than it was. But a lot of people who were injured were just injured due to shrapnel that moved out of the
shrapnel. And then you've got to think about sleeper cells. Could this be sleeper cells now getting up?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's been said that you have sleeper cells all over.
All over. Yeah. Even 9/11 was thanks to sleeper cells.
Yeah.
So maybe this is thanks to that. I don't know. But if you need to know more on what's happening across the world, resort.
Can I go and shoot a story? No, go back to the page.
Island retreats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very
no, I want the island.
Yeah, the island, it's coming back. They always go back. And then you have cute islands, cute animals, the smart cycles.
We've done this. I'm waiting for the island.
It's coming.
Can I go and I can go do a story on the island?
Yeah, because it looks really alluring. There you
Look
go.
at that.
Island retreats. You may want to go for holidays on.
Where is
so
this?
yeah, I do not know, but you need to read the China Daily. You want to know what's happening in terms of.
We can go do human interest stories on animals, on the environment.
And then have fun on the sidelines. Wink, wink.
So you're going to lobby.
Yeah. But that's all we're having today on the international papers. I think that wraps it up for us on World Press.
Ah, look at that.
I know.
Okay. Come. I'm trying to urge Trix to move close to me. Oh. Trix, I don't bite, you know. All right, people, that's why we end it on World View. Thank you so much for watching. Let's do this again tomorrow morning. Let's bring in Betty Charlo now to look at local and international headlines.